Welcome to the Navigating Dental Insurance Podcast, where we don't take from insurance companies. Here are your hosts, Mr. Jordan Comstock and Mr. Ben Tuinei.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the Say No to PPOs podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Comstock. Today, we do not have Ben. He had some other family things to do today, so we miss Ben. Ben, we miss you. We're so sad you're not here. But today, I have an exciting guest. I actually met her, was it last week, I think, over the phone. Her name is Jen Butler from JB Partners. Jen, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Jordan. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. And just to give everyone a background, Jen has a master's in education, and she is a master and board certified coach and CEO of JB Partners, a coaching firm focusing on revenue flow, stress management, and leadership development programs for dentists. So, Jen, how did you get in the dental world?
I actually was recruited by a large DSO.
Oh, cool.
That was my introduction to dentistry. But I've worked in healthcare in a variety of positions through college. I also have a double bachelor's. One of them is in educational psychology, but the other is public health administration.
Oh, awesome.
And then, as you said, I do have a master's in education. I actually have a double master's. I do things in doubles. Like I have 2 kids. I've had 2 animals. Now that I think about it. I guess 2
Nice.
is my magic number.
Yeah.
I better not tell my husband that. So far, he's been my only husband. So
yeah, better not tell him that.
we'll keep that one a secret.
Yeah, keep that one a secret. That's awesome, Jen.
But anyway,
So
I got recruited by a large DSO to be
cool.
an internal practice management consultant and a professional development coach for all the dentists.
So that's
how I got into dentistry.
That's kind of like Ben Tuinei. He got recruited by a DSO, I believe, or a group practice to help with insurance negotiations. So that's cool. You guys kind of share that same background, and you're both from Arizona. I believe you're from
Yes,
Arizona,
we
right?
actually
At least you live there, right? I'm not.
Yes.
Are you from Arizona?
No, I'm originally from New York.
New York. Okay.
And then spent time in Indiana in my from elementary school through high school, and then moved to Minnesota, where I followed my parents to Minnesota. Spent 15 years there. That's where I went to college and established my family there. And then we moved to Arizona about 11 years ago.
11 years ago. And is that where you met Ben? You know, me and you and I have a lot of connections. It seems like our last conference call we had some connections, and then you know Ben. So how did you meet and get to know Ben when you're in Arizona, or know of him?
I met Ben. Yeah, I met Ben through Howard Ferran. Howard has been a major supporter of what JB Partners does within the dental industry.
So cool.
He honestly, him, Dentaltown, the editors at Dentaltown magazine, really just launched my career almost in dentistry, working around stress management and resiliency training. And so I was doing work with Howard and at Friend Media, and I was meeting with him in his office, and he said that he knew someone who had a dentist friend who needed to talk to a stress coach.
Mm-hmm.
And if I would please do him a favor and go to a conference and meet this guy, Ben, who has a friend. Anyway, so long story short, I went over to the conference right away. I heard a doctor was in need. That's kind of how I work. And went over and met Ben at the conference, and we talked, and then I got connected with his friend, and Ben and I just clicked and had a lot of things in common. And so, yes, it was very
Cool.
memorable experience for both of us, because we haven't spoken or come across each other in probably, a year or two. So,
Yeah.
but we still both very much remember the experience.
Well, I've heard that story told 2 times on our podcast, once by Ben, and then we actually had Howard Fran come on a couple of months ago, and he actually brought that same experience, that story up, and kind of went into detail and spoke about you. And then And then you and I got connected, and then I tied everything together. So it's super cool to have you on this show. We're going to have a good one today. So I do have some questions for you, Jen, so we can we'll go through these topics here. The first question I have for you is, so we all know that insurance is an overwhelming topic for dentists. What are some of the reasons you believe that to be true?
That's a really great question. Dentists, first of all, we all know dentists go to school to fix teeth, right? They go to school to be dentists. Mm-hmm. And the natural evolution of a dental career for 99% of dentists is to be practice owners. Mm-hmm. And so when you own a dental business and approach it as a business, the learning curve is so massive.
Oh, yeah.
And then coupling that with the insurance industry and what you need to learn to manage and navigate successfully. And that's the big key, successfully. That too is so massive that most doctors then choose to outsource it either by third-party companies mm-hmm. or by outsourcing it by hiring staff.
Yeah.
And then what they do is, I hired someone with some experience. You take care of it, and they want nothing to do with it.
I have some thoughts on that. I'll let you talk, and then I'll share my thoughts there.
Well, where it becomes overwhelming is really twofold. One, the learning curve to understanding and learning insurance, and then staying with it. Insurance changes so quickly and so fast that if you're not focusing on it on a daily basis and working in it on a daily basis, things change and then you're already behind the times.
Yeah.
So if a doctor is not engaging in talking to their insurance coordinator every day about insurance and posting and completing and submitting, they're already behind the 8 ball, which means that the business owner then, when he goes and talks to his or her staff, they are not in the position of authority or leader. They are in the position of submissive learner. Mm-hmm. And that can be very overwhelming as a business owner, where you're supposed to be the boss and then you are being basically schooled. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. You are being schooled by your team members, and that can be very overwhelming. The second thing is that when you are heavily driven PPO practice and you've got insurance companies that are against you, where they don't want to be paying, and you have to cross the I's and dot the I's and cross the T's. Dentists understand, they don't always understand as to why they're not getting their dollars. Mm-hmm. They've taken the x-rays, they've, seen the correct lines there. Okay, it needs a crown, and then the insurance denies it, and they don't know why. Dentists are in nature highly analytical processors. Mm-hmm. And so when they don't know why, it triggers their biological stress response. It frustrates them. It drives, they have to know why, which is what makes them great doctors. So those two things. One, typically you stick your head in the sand and you hire an insurance coordinator, and it can be uncomfortable to have those conversations because you are the one being taught. And two, when they just don't understand, it just totally triggers their stress response. And then, of course, most dentists then just avoid the topic altogether and just hope and pray that, somehow it all works out.
Yeah, no, I see that all the time, Jen. And I the point that I wanted to bring up when you started mentioning earlier about just outsourcing or delegating, a lot of dentists do that. And in my opinion, I don't know. Have you ever read the book E-Myth Revisited, like most business people? I don't know if you have it yet.
Yes, several times. I have actually 2 copies at home, and
yeah. And so I love that book. It talks about delegation and the difference between delegation and I think it's like abdication or whatever it's called. I can't remember the other word.
Yes, abdication.
But yeah, that's it. And then I have a personal experience. This obviously has nothing to do with dealing with insurance, but it has something to do with growing a business, and that's what we're all in. We're all in business. And I remember when I've started 4 or 5 different companies before the one I'm managing now, and I've managed the dental lab when I was younger, and I've learned a lot of hard lessons through each and every company. And basically, I remember my earlier companies, I would take a department and I would outsource it as fast, as quick as I can, and kind of put my head in the sand, right, like what you mentioned there. And what happened is I, in return, had a failed department. And with my experience, it never works when you just outsource right away or delegate right away. You as a doctor and business owner need to understand all the systems in your practice. That doesn't mean you have to be an amazing master at those departments and tasks in those departments, but you have to understand them. And I think that was the biggest mistake I made in my earlier business, is I didn't take the time to understand a certain department, and then I outsourced it, and it just failed. Right, and I wrote an article in dentistryIQ.com, it just got released I think last week, that talks about the power of self-reliance and understanding your business's systems, and then delegating out to some. After you've understand what it takes to make a certain department successful, then you delegate it or outsource it to a third party, and then you know what it takes to be, make that department successful. So those are my thoughts there. That's a huge problem in the dental industry, in my opinion, where a lot of things get outsourced too quickly before they understand what it takes to become successful. So your comments there on, insurance is overwhelming, and a lot of the times doctors are making it even more overwhelming for themselves because they haven't taken the time to understand it. Do you agree with all that there, Jen?
I do. And I've got two things to add there.
Cool,
Most of the time when people abdicate, right, which is what the E-Myth
let's
talks
talk
about.
What's the difference between delegation and abdication? Did I say that right? I always say
well,
that right. Do you remember
I think
delegation is where you train somebody and teach them the ways of success. Abdication is basically like putting your head in the sand and say, I hired you, you guys figure it out, and then
Exactly.
nobody cares as much as you that owns the business, so they're not going to go and figure it out themselves. They need some guidance. That's why delegation is more powerful. So that's the difference there. So go ahead, Jen. Sorry.
Right. Well, I was going to say, and the E-Myth talks about this as well, but really, if you think about it, one of the reasons why people outsource or abdicate things, right, they get rid of them, they get it off their plate, is a lot of people say it's because, it stresses me out, I don't want to deal with it. But our stress is triggered, our stress response is triggered by something internal, not external. And that's 100% fact. So we have to then ask ourselves, if we want to learn, when we know better, we do better. It's one of my favorite quotes from Maya Angelou, is if we really want to be able to handle more things and understand things in our business, then we have to be able to acknowledge what is it inside of me that is propelling me to push this off my plate, or why I'm trying to avoid this. And a lot of time it's fear.
Yeah.
Fear of not understanding, fear of failure, fear of too much on my plate, fear of, making a mistake, screwing it up.
Yeah.
When it comes to insurance, that is how doctors feel that they get paid, right? That's their collections.
Yeah.
And they don't want to mess it up. And so what they do is they give their power away.
Yeah.
They say to their team members, here's the most important part of my business, the money, the collections.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Please take care of it. Please do. Yeah, finances, exactly. Please take care of it. Please do well by it. And then they maybe once a month, review the AR and the payment plans and where things are at. Maybe they'll run some reports out of their practice software. But ultimately, whenever a doctor, and if anyone is listening, if you give your power away to a staff member, no matter where that's coming from, whether it be an associate, where they're the ones that are doing all the dentistry and making you all the money, or an insurance coordinator where they're responsible for collecting all the money, we get that then again triggers our stress response. And I'm talking about the biological, physiological, chemical stress response, not the external, I feel stressed. Um,
Yeah.
but that alone will trigger our stress response because it goes to our hierarchical needs. Because if we don't see the money coming in, if we don't, it directly impacts our livelihood,
Yeah.
which then that's the number one thing that triggers our stress response. So going back to that question of why do they get overwhelmed? Well, you and I have just listed now like 4 or 5 different reasons why doctors with the topic of insurance can get overwhelmed by it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I mean, yeah, and I do like your comment about giving their power away, which is their understanding the money, the funds in their business. And I thought it was interesting that you said most doctors look at their finances once a month. Is that pretty common? I mean, I don't know. I don't look at that. I don't talk to doctors about this every day. But is that pretty common out there where doctors are just they look at their finances once a month, or their accounts receivable and things like that? Is only once a month is what you're saying?
What I find, and I've got now almost 10 years experience doing this with dentists, is that most dentists, if they look at their finances on a regular basis, it's typically once a month. And those are the ones that do it on a regular basis. Now, I do have come into contact with doctors that have never looked at their finances. And again, because they're coming from that place of overwhelm, they are afraid of knowing the number. It's almost like, with your personal finances where you went on vacation and you really didn't keep track of how much you put on that credit card bill.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the next couple weeks later, you get the credit card bill and you're like, oh my gosh, I really don't want to open this. I just want to like go online and make a payment without knowing how much I spent. That's so we all can relate, right?
Yep. I can relate there.
We all can relate to that.
I think I just find that interesting, and because finances are obviously the powerhouse of any business, and I mean I try to look at mine every day. I'm kind of anal though. I look at everything every day because I like to know what's going in, what's going out. I got percentage based budgets, and I'm kind of a little bit, I think, too much sometimes. But
well, I think you and I, just to piggyback on that point, though, I think you and I, that our business models are where we have direct access to being in front of the computer more often.
Yes.
If you think about a busy dentist, they're in an operatory, they're in the mouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they have a finite amount of time and energy to be able to spend on business admin stuff.
Yeah.
And so where do they pick that business admin?
Whenever they have time, which is hardly ever.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
so,
and that is a good point that you brought up there, because I mean I'm in front of the computer all day, and then most my roles in my company are business administration roles. So that is a great point. But I do I have another question for you in relation to the finances. So how you mentioned they give their power away. How can a dentist get their power back? What are some tips there?
Well, that's a great question. With dentists, the very first thing that they need to do is they need to they need to make things automatic. So before you started recording, I love that you said, the way in which you do your podcast, you really just have everything systematized and automated, right?
Yeah.
So doctors need to have such systems in place that it feels as if things are automatic.
Yes.
So that's where they feel as if it's not being about in power, right? It's not about being, I'm the boss, I'm in power, but it's about feeling as if you are powerful.
Okay.
It's feeling as if you are energetic and, right, that, that servant leadership, but yet it's still a very powerful leadership. So let's talk about daily reports that dentists should be running in the morning and at the end of the day. So I've got a download that people can go get of the fruit, of what reports dentists should do in the morning and in the evening. And things are better when they're in bite-sized pieces, right? They're not as overwhelming and stressed. Like you look at your money on a daily basis, which is great, because if you see something, you see a small mistake, you fix it, versus at the end of the month where you're like, where at the end of the month you're like, I don't know what that is, and I don't know what that is. And now it's like, oh, now I have to do all this research and try and find this receipt. So by breaking things down into smaller bite-sized pieces, I do highly suggest that you leverage your practice software and get informed about your payment structures and your outstanding claims and your finances. So at the end of the day, definitely running a payment report where it outlines your checks and your credit card deposits and your cash, and making sure that what you have in your hand correlates to what the practice software you're using says that you should have in your hand. But the other thing is any claims that haven't been sent. Now, a lot of times doctors think about the cash for today, but that is going into the bank, but not necessarily the cash that's coming in 30 days.
Yeah.
And so just running the report of outstanding claims that might be sent, and breaking it down into just smaller bite-sized pieces, whether that be the day or the week. Now, the other thing to get your power back is once you start becoming informed, you then can start asking questions. And again, I have another download at my site. It's like 6 pages of empowering questions.
Well, could you? I mean, you can share that link right now if you want to, and then we can do it at the end as well.
Oh, sure. It's jenbutlerpartners.com, and they can just go to the resource library, and all the stuff is free. I try and put on tons of free resources at my site.
Likewise, that's smart.
Yeah, I share all my information. I don't charge for information. That's not what we do.
Yep,
I would give all my information free. Yeah.
That's why I have a podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Give it away. Give it away. Exactly. I'm going to start breaking out in song here. But anyway, a free resource of empowering questions.
Very cool.
So, because once you're informed, look at your reports, start running your reports. That gets you informed. You can formulate your questions. But the worst question you can ask your staff is why questions. Even if I were to say, so why did you start a podcast?
Because. Yeah. So you're saying those are the worst questions to ask staff members.
Yeah. So when I said, why did you start a podcast? Your initial reaction was, I can't see you, but on the other end of the line, what was your initial reaction?
I kind of went blank for a little bit, and I'm like, oh crap, I got to think of something. Typically people feel put on the spot. Yeah, that's exactly how I felt. I was like, oh, I wasn't prepared for that.
And now I'm feeling dumb. And then the answer is, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Right? And so now imagine you're a dentist and you're the insurance coordinator, and the dentist goes up to the insurance coordinator and says, why is this? And why is that? And why is this? And then how that insurance coordinator must be feeling. Put on the spot, defensive.
Yeah, I can see that.
Attack. Okay.
Especially with insurance questions that deal with money.
Yes. That deal with money, which is a highly sensitive topic for people anyway.
Highly sensitive, yes.
Yes. So you want to, any question starting with who, what, when, where, and how. Those 5 words, those are good questions to start with. Okay. But you never want to ask the word, start a question with the word why, unless you want to start an argument with somebody. If you want to start an argument with someone, please feel free to go ahead and use the why question. So,
yeah, that's interesting. Now that I'm thinking about like past conversations, whenever I've asked with a question, started a question with why, they've always people. Yeah, it's exactly what you said. You feel put on the spot or defensive. So that's a really interesting tip. I'm gonna try using less why questions when I'm talking to my staff here. That's interesting. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's okay. That's okay. No, I say no wires.
No wires.
No wires. And
awesome.
Because the word why in English semantically requires the responder to justify and defend. That's what the why. That's what our word why means. It's you are looking for a justification or a defense of something. So, so how to get your power back? First, get informed, run your daily reports, start learning on your own. Just start looking at things. Eventually, and then you can start researching, posting on threads, listening to your podcast, of course. Nice. Start getting informed. Second, start formulating questions and empowering questions that partner you with your staff, so that that dentist or no one, comes across as being overbearing. Then the third thing, and this is really one of the most important things, is to have what I call your playground rules.
Oh, yeah.
Every leader needs to have playground rules. So you said you've started several businesses.
Yeah.
And so have I, and dentists, they own their own business. As leaders, our business is our playground.
Yep.
We took the risk. We have that entrepreneurial spirit where we went and started our own company, our own business, and this is my playground, and I'm playing in my playground, and then we start inviting people to play in our playground, and we call them employees or team members, but it's still my playground, and it is important for us as business owners to have our own playground rules. So, for example, one of my playground rules is family first. That's a playground rule.
Yeah.
With any of my team members, if a family something comes up, not I have to go to a soccer game, but if something really is coming up with their family, that goes on their calendar first, and then we build around that.
Yeah.
Because that's what I do, and I don't feel like I should be anything. I'm not as important or less important than someone else on my team. We're equal importance. So
yeah, absolutely.
So that's a playground rule. Another playground rule is be curious at all times, which means ask questions.
Yeah, I love it.
Be curious at all times. So these can be doctors knowing their playground rules, but really what I have are expectations. But adults, employees, team members, they don't like leaders to come up and say, well, I have an expectation that you do this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, yes, exactly.
So if you turn it on its head, and you say, these are our playground rules. And so one of my playground rules is around insurance is that every week we will have a 30-minute meeting or a 20-minute meeting around. The first 10 minutes is on any outstanding claims. The next 10 minutes is on any outstanding patient accounts receivables. And here's what you need to bring to the meeting. This is the information that I want. And the team member then does the presentation.
Yeah.
So setting up the playground rules, or i.e. having expectations of what you want your team members, your insurance coordinator to do. Those are the first 3 steps to getting your power back.
I love that because we like you, we have playground rules for each department. In my company, we have things that they follow and things that are understood to avoid conflict and other types of problems, and to also I think I'm going to steal your "Be Curious" one. I like that one. I'm gonna announce that to our staff meeting next week. But I think
you don't need to steal it. I give it to you for
yes,
with full heart.
No, I love that.
No stealing involved.
No stealing involved. Okay, it's going to be a positive thing then. I couldn't agree with you more with that. I mean, just in my own business, I think that has helped us so much to have to establish rules of the playground. It just keeps things organized and not as chaotic, right? Because sometimes a business can be chaotic, especially when you're dealing with dental insurance. So I love that that's one of your tips. I wouldn't have ever thought of that, but now that you mention it, we do that in our business. Obviously, we don't deal with insurance, but I could imagine that being a really positive thing for a practice to do. So on to my next question here, Jen. you help dentists create processes and systems around insurance and collections. What other areas of dental business do you create processes and systems for?
Oh my gosh. Well, we are we're a full scale. At JB Partners, we've got three main services that we work on. One, we're definitely known for stress management in dentistry. Two is our training, either team training or doctor training, associate doctor training, and around leadership and that type of thing.
Cool.
But another thing that we do is we have a full comprehensive, I guess, business coaching. I'm a master certified business coach. And I went back to school, and so where people throw around that word coach or coaching pretty loosely nowadays in business, but I really am, like, I paid a lot of money to go back to school to be a actual master and board certified coach. But
wow, that's pretty cool. Well, and then you got your master's in education, which if you're going to be a coach, that's a big part of coaching is education.
Absolutely.
So I think that's pretty cool.
So we also have a comprehensive practice management consulting, I guess, if you would call it. We call it business coaching because we work directly with the doctors, and so any kind of department within the practice that is needing process and systems, we work around. So
do you do anything
not just insurance.
Do you do anything on the clinical side at all, or mainly the business side of the practice?
No, we do. We work on the clinical side as far as how to present like treatment and that type of thing. One of my partners is a hygienist of 22 years. She works with all the back office staff. With the hygienist, the dental assistants, she'll go in and show them how to take X-rays and do all those kinds of things. When it comes to working with the doctor, I'm pretty smart, and I actually was pre-med in college. I've been a paramedic.
Oh, nice.
That's right. Drove an ambulance.
I remember you saying that last night on a phone call. I totally forgot that you were paramedic. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So although I clinically can't tell a doctor how to
diagnose treatment or whatever,
diagnose treatment or something like that, yeah, I can definitely hold my own in reading an X-ray and challenge a doctor that's doing a 5-surface crown and then go, what do you, 2/3 of if a 2/3 of a tooth is compromised, it's a crown, as opposed to a 5-surface. I'm sorry, not a 5-surface crown, a 5-surface filling.
Oh yeah.
And I misspoke. See, maybe you can edit that out because I misspoke. But if they're doing a 5-surface filling, I definitely would challenge them and say, what holds you back? See, no why questions, but what holds you back from doing a full coverage crown here? Or when doctors talk about extracting teeth, I'm a huge advocate of not using the word extraction. Don't talk about extracting teeth. Only talk about replacing teeth.
Oh, interesting. It's more positive.
Except for wisdom teeth.
Yeah, except for wisdom teeth. But is that the reason you want the conversation when you're talking about a treatment plan with the patient? Is a reason for that for making the language more positive for the patient? Is that what you're thinking there? Yeah,
because let's Stephen Covey, let's keep the end in mind.
Yeah.
Ultimately, because the conversations typically look like this when a doctor presents an extraction. Okay, so that tooth isn't savable. We definitely can extract that for you today. We'll get you out of pain. And somewhere down the road, at some other appointment, and when that's healed, maybe we can talk about replacing that or putting something there. And it's so passive. It's so and the patient's not even listening at this point.
Yeah.
But if you say, Mrs. Patient, that tooth is not savable. Luckily, we are a modern dental office and I am such a skilled dentist. I'm all about dentists championing themselves, by the way. And I am such a skilled dentist that we can talk about how to replace that tooth right now. So let me ask you a few questions.
Cool.
So I can help guide you to the right decision. See, I also don't like to use good, better, best. I also don't like to use ideal. I'm very, I've been working in sales and behavior influence for 25 years.
I love both those topics, Jen. Sales and behavior. I love those topics.
Well, let's have another podcast and do that. So
yes, we need to.
So those are some of the things that we do when we work with the doctors. So
Very cool. No, that was very helpful, and I love some of your tips there. So what you guys are known for is stress management. Am I okay to say that? You guys help
yeah,
dentists.
absolutely.
That's what makes you guys different. So if dentists find themselves overwhelmed, what are some things they can do in the moment to go from stressed to energized?
Oh, uh, there are 10 things that I talk to doctors about when in the moment when you're feeling stressed, that this will reduce your stress response. And again, I come from that science place uh, where where we're talking really about the fight or flight response,
Mm-hmm.
not just about people feel stressed in the moment. So how you slow down the stress response, the number one way, and this is proven by research over and over and over and over and again, is by deep breathing.
Oh, I do that all the time. Just naturally.
So, and yeah, so people oftentimes, especially dentists,
Yeah.
they breathe incorrectly.
Well, and then they're all crunched in
And
different positions, right? Which,
they,
trying to hold their breath as they're, cutting a crown or something, or prepping a crown. They're just in awkward positions sometimes, and I can imagine that sometimes could, affect breathing.
absolutely, because they're making their diaphragm by leaning over so much, they're cutting their diaphragm in half. So, and that's why a lot of times dentists will sit up all of a sudden and go,
Yeah.
and take a deep breath. So, but breathing and in our society, letting your gut hang out is like taboo, especially if you're female. But in order to diaphragmatically breathe, it's really important to just really to let that belly hang out.
Yeah. And
And
breathe through the
instead of
diaphragm.
exactly breathe through your diaphragm. And if you want to have a mental component to that, close your eyes. Our eyes
I'm doing it.
take in. I'm doing it right now.
I'm doing it
Our
right
eyes take in a lot of
now.
takes in a lot of senses that stimulates the brain. So if we close our eyes and even cover our ears, you can even go to that level, cut off the auditory sense. Even just do it for 10 seconds. If you breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, just slowly, diaphragmatically, cover the senses to not stimulate your brain, it allows the brain to relax. It's like letting your
Yeah.
brain lay on the couch and watch a little TV or something. But because the brain is a muscle, it
Yeah.
needs time to relax. And in a dental practice, when you're a business owner and you're thinking and a ton of things at once and
Yeah.
or one right after the other, and you're pulled in three different operatories, our brain just we get to that what's called the stress threshold very quickly.
Wow.
So breathing, cover your eyes, cover your ears. I always say breathe, take a deep breath before you walk into every operatory at least. So that's one thing. Two, another thing that you can do in the moment is hydration.
Nice.
In a dental office, I would love to test water intake, but in a dental practice, I go into offices where there's no water cooler for the staff in the back,
Yeah.
and when you go and get a glass of water from the sink, they're like, "Ooh, that our water is terrible here." So so like a staff member will have one maybe 16-ounce bottle of water the entire day. Well, they clinically are dehydrated, and when we get dehydrated, we do not critically think. We have to have so much fluid intake for our brains to be able to critically think. And so that's why a lot of doctors will say, well, my team just seems to be, they can't put two and two together, or they can't do this, or they're not doing that. Well, give them some water and maybe they'll be able to.
I know. I notice when there's days when I go without water sometimes, just because I'm just going, much like a dentist sometimes, and I tend to get headaches, and that obviously causes stress. So that's interesting they say that. Now we buy a ton of water bottles for every in our break room, in my office, everyone's office we provide water bottles, because I for a while I always had headaches, and I'm like, man, I'm just not drinking enough water for the other day. So that's interesting that you say that.
Yeah. Absolutely. So hydration and dental practice. And then another thing to do, and which you and I have done a lot on this call,
Oh,
and
cool.
that's laugh.
Yeah,
Laughter is one of the
yeah.
laughter is one of the top 5 coping methods to reduce or slow down the stress response. Actually, laughter releases positive hormones where it releases oxytocin, which is the love hormone or cuddle hormone,
Mm-hmm.
and actually counteracts our stress response. So I always
Interesting.
say, if you're going through a bit of a stressful time, and we all do, like the
Absolutely,
last
yeah.
couple weeks, I've been going through a very stressful time. I've got some things going on with family and surgeries with parents, and so we all go through these times. But it's the coping methods we rely on that is going to determine how well we manage and navigate our daily life.
Yeah.
And so, if you've got stuff going on, then only watch comedies. If you have TVs in your office, only put on
I
comedies.
love comedies.
Have them going, and that would be great for your staff.
Yeah.
Let them watch funny videos a couple times a day.
Oh, we
or
do. Yeah. Before this call, Jen, that's exactly what I was doing. Was we were watching a funny video of, I can't remember what it was, but that's, yeah. We laugh a lot here. But I love that.
That
you say
is
that.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, still laughter. So I've got I actually have 2 ebooks again of how to reduce stress now, and I've got
Could I
lots of different
download
ways
one of those
info.
ebooks? Because I'm kind of interested in
You
it too.
absolutely you can right at my website.
Sweet.
So
I'm gonna go download one.
go download it, and it's not for dentists. It's for anyone. So
Yeah.
if a dentist is listening to this, or if you or any of your staff is listening to this, and you're just wondering, how do I reduce stress in the moment? Because maybe you
Yeah.
know someone who is having a difficult time, go download it.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think that's a very important skill, I guess we can call it, right? A skill set to learn how to manage stress, because everyone has to deal with stress, multiple times a day, or a lot of times throughout their life they deal with stress. So, and especially as dentists and entrepreneurs, right? There's a lot of stress that goes into both those fields. So, where can we find your ebook, Jen?
Oh, at our website, which is jenbutlerpartners.com.
Perfect. No, Jen, this has been an awesome episode, and I hope it helps a lot of doctors and staff out there that are listening to it on managing stress, dealing with insurance, creating systems. I think Jen is a fantastic resource in our industry, and use all the tips that we talked about today on our show, because they'll truly help you. I know I use some of them in my business that's separate from the dental practice, but they all work. So Jen, if someone wants to get in touch with you and use you for your services, what's the best way for them to contact you?
They can go straight to the website. We have a contact form there, or they can email me directly at jen@jenbutlerpartners.com, and that's JEN.
JEN, butlerpartners.com. And then you got a resources page. I think we both have resources page on our website. So go to her resources page. You can find those ebooks and other resources that she discussed throughout the show. But Jen, thank you so much for coming on. I'm gonna definitely bring you back on again. This was a lot of fun talking to you.
It was, Jordan. Thanks so much. I look forward to doing it with you next time.
Okay, thanks everybody, and you guys listening out there, you guys have a wonderful day.